welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to tell you guys about 10 things I've learned about through doll collecting that aren't necessarily about dolls. Now, these are things that I can apply to other areas of life that are not doll collecting, but that I never would have learned had it not been for doll collecting. So let's get started. Number 10 on my list is that I learned about the Wayback Machine and how to effectively use that for research. What is the Wayback Machine? Now, the Wayback Machine is like an archive of the internet, and so basically, you know, there are bots that crawl the internet every day and they take snapshots of web pages. I used it extensively when I was researching Pongratz dolls because you can go back in time and you can see a snapshot of the Pongratz website as it existed back in 2004, for example, and that is very helpful for people like myself who do doll research. I learned about the Wayback Machine and started using it extensively when I started making videos about those 80s dolls. So it was very useful to me. And as far as doing that, you guys sometimes wonder how I get the commercials for that stuff. A lot of that is in the Internet Archive, and so I'm able to pull stuff from there. And so I really love the Wayback Machine because it is so useful for those sorts of things. Another good one to mention on there is the This Is Blythe site. This Is Blythe was originally a website done by Gina Garan and had a lot of great information about Blythe on there. And this was interesting. She was talking, I was in a BlytheCon UK, the virtual BlytheCon UK, and we had a session with her, and she talked about how she let the website lapse for one day and somebody jumped in and bought the domain, and now thisisblythe.com is nothing but fake Blythes, and it's really disgusting actually. And the whole thing kind of makes me upset when I think about it because it's not useful information. It's all fake Blythes that are sold that they get off of AliExpress, and on AliExpress they're like $25 and they're selling them on this website for like $150. But anyway, it's disgusting. It used to be a great resource for learning about Blythe. Well, you can still get some of that great information through the Wayback Machine. So you can go on there, look at This Is Blythe, and go back in time and look at some of the old posts. Now, a lot of the pictures won't load, but you can even click sometimes and go to different links throughout the site if they were crawled and they were, you know, documented and saved. So the Wayback Machine is very, very useful for doing doll research. If you haven't used it before, go out there and try. I recommend it. It's just fun. It's fun to even look at old brand websites like the old Disney website or the old Pepsi website. Pepsi's one of the first companies that I remember. We had our first internet connection in 1994, and Pepsi is one of the first companies I remember that had a website and it had games for kids on it and stuff, so I remember going on that website. But anyway, love that site. It is great for researching doll stuff, but fun for other stuff too. And so if you haven't ever used the Wayback Machine, spend 30 minutes or so looking at it. But I wouldn't know about it and I would never have discovered its many uses had it not been for my doll research. Number 9 on my list is that I learned to use Google Translate effectively. And why did I do that? Because I wanted to purchase Chrissy dolls from other countries. I love Chrissy dolls. Chrissy is one of the main lines of dolls that I have collected throughout the years. And this Chrissy is from France and this one is from Brazil. I speak neither Portuguese nor French, and I really wanted these dolls. And so back in the day when I got these dolls, I actually was probably using Babelfish. I don't even know if that's still around, but Babelfish was the translator that I used to use a lot. This is before Chrome would automatically translate everything for you, you know. But anyway, I learned to use translation software that's available online to communicate with people about purchasing dolls in another language. The key when you do this is that you need to use as simple language as possible so that the translator can now translation software is more sophisticated than it was back when I started using it, but you know, the simpler the language, the better your point gets across. And I was able to purchase dolls from Brazil, from Mercado Libre, which is the eBay version of is the version of eBay in Brazil, and from eBay France I was able to purchase a couple of Claudry Chrissies. So I have a few Claudry Chrissies, I have a couple of Brazilian Chrissies, and that would not have been possible for me without the use of a translating software which was available online. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I probably used Babelfish back in the day, but I still use Google Translate to this day. You know, when I was in Japan. In 2019, Google Translate's amazing. Now you can take a picture with your phone and it will translate for you the picture. It detects all sorts of language. I use it to read Russian a lot when I'm trying to look at doll blogs that are in Russian. That's an amazing tool to use. You can just translate this. You can screenshot it and input it into the translator, or if you're in Chrome, like on a desktop device, or even from the Chrome app, it will translate. I get varying levels of success with the app just in the browser, but on a desktop browser, it's no problem. So I really love that feature. It really opened up the world of dolls to me, from besides just dolls from English-speaking places. It really opened things up for me to be able to purchase and learn about. Most importantly, learn about. Well, what's more important, the learning or the purchasing? Probably the learning, but once you learn about them, you want them, like you want to have them. And so for me, I really learned how to, I would say, communicate effectively with people who did not speak the same language as I did. And I did that through a lot of trial and error with, using these translators and trying to, again, get to the point with my language and being, get my point across, and using simple language so that the translator could effectively translate it and get my communication across. So anyway, that was one thing that I really would never have learned that were it not for doll collecting. But it's benefited me when I've traveled. It's benefited me when I traveled to Japan. It's benefited me when I traveled to France. It benefited me when I traveled to Portugal. So that's something that I learned through doll collecting that has benefited me in other areas of my life. Number 8 on my list is I learned a lot about foreign currency and foreign exchange. Now, I learned that because I started buying these dolls internationally, and the first doll that I really took an interest in was Nancy Famosa, and I still am a huge Nancy Famosa fanatic today. If I see Nancy Famosa dolls, I always want them. I'm still adding maybe one a year to my collection, but the Nancy dolls are so fantastic. They are made in Spain, and they are some of the first international dolls that I purchased. And this Nancy Geisha from 2010, I think she's 2010, was one of the very first international dolls that no, she had to be before that. But anyway, I can't remember her date. However, that's not the point. The point is that these dolls are sold in euros. I buy them from Spain, and the currency there is euro. And so at that time, I knew about foreign exchange. I had my undergraduate degree I minored in math, so I did some stuff with that. But when I started buying these dolls is when I really started tracking foreign currency and paying more attention to it. And it helped me in a lot of ways in my real life because, first of all, I travel a lot more now than I used to, and so that kind of helps me wrap my head around that. I used to do a unit with my students when I was a teacher. We did a foreign currency exchange unit because there's a lot of great math applications, and it's a very practical application of math to do foreign currency. So we would actually plan a trip and use foreign currency. I would bring Costa Rican currency into the classroom and Costa Rican menus from different restaurants, and they would choose meals and kind of do currency conversions and stuff like that. I always thought that was a really fun unit. And then today, now I'm a treasury professional. I work in treasury for a corporation, and I do FX trades every week. So, had I not had that foundation of personal experience, because I really cared about learning about foreign currency due to, my purchasing of dolls and my foreign currency interest, that really helped me and set me up for success, I feel like, throughout my life with my new career now. I thought it was a really fun unit for my kids back when I was a teacher, and they always seemed to enjoy it, and, lots of practical applications for that. And so that's something that I really learned through doll collecting. I probably would have learned it, as time went on, but the doll collecting itself is what really pushed me into it and what laid the foundation for me as far as foreign currency and actually being able to understand it and think about it in a manner that made sense and that, had practical applications. So thanks to my Spanish dolls, that is when I really started learning about that. Number 7 on my list is that I learned to protect myself in online transactions. Now, this Barbie, I know she is not outfit appropriate. Please, I apologize for that. This is not the first Barbie I ever bought online. but she's very similar. The first doll I ever bought online was a brunette bubble cut. I bought her on eBay, and I bought her in the year 2000. So I have been an eBay member since 2000, and no, was it 2000 or it might have been even earlier than that? I think it's 2000. I bought my first brunette bubble cut Barbie because I had always wanted a straight leg Barbie. I never had one. I wanted one of the old vintage Barbies with the legs that didn't move. And I bought her on eBay, and that started my online doll shopping that I ever did. I sold her. I don't have her anymore, but I'm going to keep this girl as a reminder of her because it was a very special thing for me. It was a very special, like, I guess it opened the doors for me to online buying, but it also taught me to be very careful about how you purchase things online. I can say that I don't think, knock on wood, I don't have any wood here, but I don't think I've ever truly been scammed. I've had some things go wrong, but as far as an outright scam, I don't think that's ever happened to me. But you have to be very careful with online transactions, whatever they are. You know, you need to be sure that you have yourself protected. PayPal offers protection when you're doing that. Now, when I list things for sale, I do say that I give preference to people who pay friends and family, but I don't require that, and if somebody's not comfortable with it, I certainly accept it as goods and services. And if you're buying from someone that you don't know and that you don't trust, you should always pay with goods and services to protect yourself. If you're using another platform like eBay, that's even better because you have that layer of protection there. Now, I don't use eBay as much as I used to because their fees are 12.5% now. Oh my goodness, that is wow. But anyway, back when I started using eBay, I think their fees were between 6 and 8%. They weren't nearly that much. But, you know, starting shopping online for dolls taught me how to protect myself from all sorts of scams and from, you know, just getting my money taken and no doll, which I guess is a scam. It's the same thing. But it taught me to protect myself from that. And I have bought lots of things in the years between that are not just dolls, that are all sorts of other things. And I think the first thing I ever bought online was a doll. And so learning how to purchase online and learning how to protect yourself online and learning how to watch for red flags online is something that I learned through doll buying, and I think it helped me shape me into a smarter consumer that questions more of what I see so that I don't fall for the types of scams and things that often people do. So that is my number 7, that it taught me how to protect myself in online transactions. The number sixth thing that doll collecting has taught me is how to apply scale practically. Now, again, I did a lot of math in college, and so I know scale, but actually collecting dolls makes it more practical for me. I can think about it better. So for example, when I got my Trixie Mattel doll, which by the way, so many of you have reached out to me to let me know about the Integrity Trixie. Yes, I pre-ordered her. Yes, I pre-ordered her the same day. Yes, I have Trixie's channel notifications on. I saw the thumbnail that the doll was available, and before I even watched the video, I ordered the doll. Hello, buddy. I ordered the doll. So you got that to look forward to. I'm thinking about going back and ordering a second doll just so I can have them in different outfits, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, when I got my Trixie doll, I knew she needed her own easy bake oven. And so what I know about scale is I knew that this would actually be in good scale with her to use as her own easy bake oven. That's about the size. This is about a 1/4 scale easy bake oven. And so I was really happy to be able to get this and add it to the collection for her, because this Trixie has her own collection. She has her own easy bake oven. She has her own Barbie. So anyway, that's something that doll collecting taught me. And so now, like, I know if I see something as 1/6 scale, I know that's roughly Barbie size. I know it's going to be a good scale for any dolls I have that are around Barbie size. I know if I see 1/4 scale, it's going to be great for my MSD dolls. I know if I see 1/3 scale, it's going to be great for my smart dolls, my SD size dolls. So that's something that doll collecting really helped put into a more tangible sort of practical application for me, is scale and how to apply scale with dolls. I have an entire video, it's one of the most popular videos on my channel, is what does scale actually mean and how to apply it. And so if you want to check that out, you know, I'll link it below so you can see that. But that is one of the big things that has helped me, you know, because there's other places in life where you're looking at scale. And so I just thought that was one of those things that I really learned it very well through doll collecting, and it's something that is solidified in my mind, and I feel like I can apply it very quickly and I understand it really well, and I wouldn't have that same practical application and same practical knowledge if it were not for the doll collecting. Number 5 thing that I've learned through doll collecting is video editing and photo editing. Now, I'm still not a great photographer at all. I just take pictures for fun, but I have gotten much better at video editing. For example, I have to edit this guy out of a lot of stuff, and I have to edit his meows and his destructiveness out of many things, and that's something I probably never would have learned to do. I mean, I definitely wouldn't have learned to do it were it not for doll collecting and making these doll collecting videos. I've learned how to use an app, Power Director. That's the app that I use for editing my videos. I've talked about that before on the channel, about how I got started with that and kind of the things that I did to get started with my YouTube channel. I would have never learned any of this stuff about YouTube or anything else if I didn't have a passion for dolls and if I didn't want to share that passion with others. And so this is all technologically based stuff, but I have applied it in other areas of my life. So I do make private videos when my husband and I go on vacation, for example. I'll make a vacation video of our trip, and I will, I'll edit that together, and so we have like a vacation video to look back on and remember our memories. And I've done that for my mom. I've made her some picture videos that I send to her, and same thing with my grandma. I'm able to do those things and create those things for people because I learned to do it through my doll collecting. Now, again, I'm not professional level. I recognize that. There are a lot of doll YouTubers out there that have way better edited videos than I have. But as a hobbyist, and with the amount of time that I'm able to devote to, this YouTube channel with my full-time job as well, I feel like I've come a long way. If you go back and watch my original videos, some of my early videos compared to the videos now, I've come a long way. I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning every day and trying to get better and making things better. So that's something I would never have learned if it were not for doll collecting, and it's something that I'm able to apply to other areas of my life. Number 4 on my list is Spanish. I would not have learned Spanish to the degree that I know it today were it not for dolls. And this is actually kind of an interesting story, at least it is to me. I really wanted to buy Juanita Perez dolls from Mexico. Now, these dolls were not available through any of the traditional channels. So you guys know I talked to you about Mercado Libre and eBay France and things like that. Well, you couldn't do that with these dolls. You had to just directly communicate with the company. And so I asked my now husband for help because my Spanish, I took Spanish in high school and I took it in college, but that, you guys know, if you speak a second language, you know that whatever you learn in school is nowhere near what you really need to practically apply in real life. And so I reached out to my husband and I was like, hey, I need some help buying some dolls. Can you help me practice my Spanish? We're married today. We wouldn't be married today had I not reached out to him about that. So for those of you that don't know, we are married today because of Juanita Perez dolls, which I think is a very interesting story because people frequently tell me how lucky I am to have such a supportive partner, which I recognize that. I'm very thankful to have you, honey. Thank you for being so supportive. But he knew from the get-go, this is a grown woman trying to buy dolls for herself. So that didn't put him off, and so, it worked out. But anyway, now I speak Spanish better. I speak like a moderate level of Spanish. I can get by when I'm in Costa Rica with him. I can get by like at stores and stuff by myself, or at the airport by myself. And I can read a lot and I can understand a lot. Speaking is still iffy for me. I think it's just because I'm shy. I'm a little scared. Tengo miedo. Pero puedo hablar en español y también entiendo español y también leer en español. Entonces, ahora puedo comprar muñecas en español. And that's the most important thing for me. No, not really. It's important for me to be able to communicate with my in-laws as well. So I do a fair job of that. But anyway, it's an interesting thing. I would have, were it not for me wanting desperately to buy these dolls, not only would I have not snagged myself an awesome husband, because I did that, but I wouldn't have really learned Spanish to the level that I have. The world is global now, and I think it's so important. I wish there was more stress in this country about speaking multiple languages. You know, when you go to Europe, I'm always so impressed by how everyone there is multilingual, and it's something that I wish that we stressed more in this country. And you know, it's a global world now, and when I travel, you know, I'm a little less embarrassed that, because, you know, I do speak 2 languages, sort of. You know, like I said, moderate amount of Spanish. I don't claim to be fluent, but it's less embarrassing for me because I feel like I can be more educated and be more on a global sort of level, more of a global citizen now that I can understand more than 1 language. And that to me is very important, because I feel like it is important to embrace our neighbors, you know, and to just take part and learn about other cultures, and one of the best ways of doing that is through language. So thank you to Juanita Perez. You guys haven't seen her, by the way. I got her on eBay. She was mislabeled as somebody else. I've got to fix her up still, but she was out in my project pile, so I grabbed her for this demonstration. But anyway, that's one of the best things that I've learned through doll collecting, is actually just how to be a better global citizen. Learning Spanish has really, I feel like, really helped me do that. The number 3 thing I have learned through doll collecting is confidence. I have, you know, never been a super confident person. I've always felt secure in myself, but as far as I was never really super outgoing. I was shy for a long time and more introverted, but through doll collecting, I think it's given me the platform to showcase my passion, and it's made me more of a confident person. I've brought out Tawny Owl here because she is one of the dolls that, you know, this is one of the first more popular YouTube videos I had, was unboxing this doll. It had a lot of views on it. People wanted to see it because there really were not any unboxings of full set Poupées dolls. There were some unboxings of other Poupées, but this was the first full set, really, I'm pretty sure, that was on YouTube. There might have been a couple more, but this was one of my more popular videos, and when I realized the positive, you know, feedback I got from that, it gave me more confidence to keep going with my channel and try to make things better. I mean, if you go back and watch this video, you can definitely, there's a huge quality difference between the videos that I made then and the videos that I make now. But that just gave me a confidence level, and getting that positive feedback from people gave me the confidence and the power to go forward, like, and to continue doing this and continue trying to educate people about dolls. I'm also very confident as far as taking my dolls out in public, because this is my passion, and who is anybody else to say that my passion is invalid? And it's interesting because at Modern Doll Collectors Convention this past year, it's the first time that I've actually presented in front of people. You know, I'm presenting constantly on YouTube, but actually presenting in front of a crowd. And I thought I would be very nervous, but I was not nervous. I was able to get up, because when you're getting up, when you know your subject matter and you feel very confident about it, and you know, like I've said, I've gotten all the positive feedback over the years from you guys who watch my channel. I appreciate that love and support so much, because it just makes me feel, you know, less anxious about sharing stuff, and it makes me feel like, you know, people care what I have to say. And so I was able to get up in front of the crowd at Modern Doll, and I was able to present, and I wasn't nervous, and I felt so good afterwards, because I don't know that I can't tell you that I've ever had that experience in front of a crowd of people before. And so that's something that doll collecting has really given me that I didn't have in the past. And so I really appreciate that. And some people, you know, I used to be a teacher, but getting up and talking in front of a room full of kids is totally different than getting up and talking in front of a room full of adults. It's a totally different situation. But anyway, I just feel like, you know, through doll collecting, I was able to unlock some of that extrovert in myself and some of that outgoingness in myself that before, you know, I was that way with close friends, but now I'm able to be that way with strangers or people that I just meet. I'm able to kind of talk to anybody, because if they have dolls in common with me, I can talk for hours about dolls. And so I'm just so appreciative that doll collecting has given me that. You know, it's given me the passion, and it's given me the confidence to go forward and to, you know, do what I do, because I love doing it. I love sharing with you guys. I love introducing people to new artists. I love introducing people to new dolls. And so I'm just so thankful that I have this platform to be able to do that. So that is a big one that doll collecting I've learned from doll collecting, or that doll collecting has given me. Number 2, now this one may sound like so cheesy to you guys, and it may sound like a total load of BS, but this is the honest to goodness truth. I have learned the power of positive thinking, and manifestation is a real thing for me. It works for me. You know, I try to be positive all the time, and if I find that, and I hate that it's that way materialistically, because it is a lot of times about dolls that I want, and so that's, you know, I hate that it has that sort of thing to it, but it's not just that too. You know, it's been with my health. You know, I've tried to be more positive about that and make positive changes and things like that. But the power of positive thinking and the power of manifestation really seems to work for me. Like, I really wanted a Chitose, and you guys have heard the story about how that happened if you've been watching my channel for a long time. I really wanted one. I fell in love with them at a local Smart Doll meet, so I said, I'm going to buy a Chitose shirt, because if I have the shirt, then I'm going to manifest the doll into my life. And I just put that positivity out there in the world, and within a couple weeks I had a Chitose. And that kind of thing, like, I've applied it to other areas too, like with my health. You know, I try to stay positive about my health, and I've told myself, you know, you're not going to do this, this, and this. You're not going to let your MS stop you from doing this or this. And so I feel like that's helped me a lot, rather than get, you know, really down about it. You know, I try to put the positive thinking on it, put a positive spin on it, and think about things positively, and it seems to work for me every time. You know, I have been there before where I'm having negative feelings, and it seems like the more negative feelings I have, the more bad things happen. But the more positive feelings I have, the more positive things happen. And so, again, this may sound like a total crock to you guys, but for me, I feel like it really works. Like, the more positive minded I stay, and the more positive I try to be, and I try to spread positivity as much as I can, I feel that positive things happen back to me when that happens. I feel like if I'm spreading negativity, negative things happen to me. So I try very hard to constantly spread positivity, or even be positive internally about my own self and my own situation and things like that. So that's something that truly, you know, I think as I started collecting dolls as an adult and thinking about things like that, you know, once I kind of made up my mind, even going back to like the French Chrissy dolls and the Brazilian Chrissy dolls that you guys saw earlier, those were incredibly difficult dolls to get back when I got them. Incredibly difficult dolls to get. But I set my mind to it, and I said, I'm going to get these dolls. And I was able to get them, and at the time I didn't have much money to spend on dolls. I was able to get them at a price I could afford, and you know, I was able to get them home through some hard work on my end, but maintaining that positive spirit and that positive attitude, you know, it really helped me. And as I say it, I know it sounds weird. I know it doesn't, it just sounds like a load of garbage, but it's not. It's really worked for me, and it's really true. And I don't get very spiritual on this channel at all, but I really feel like being positive and staying positive has really manifested a lot of great things into my life, and for that I'm so appreciative. And I feel like those of you, a lot of times I'll have you guys will comment things that you're sending me positive vibes and that you're wishing for me, and I can feel that. Like, I feel the positivity coming from you guys, and I feel like all that positivity together just has really, it's just really impacted me in such an amazing way. And so for that, I'm so appreciative for y'all's support on this doll journey, on this journey through life. So anyway, that one was probably a little, you know, different for you guys, but I truly believe that doll collecting has taught me that through this whole process of doll collecting. It's unlocked other areas of my life that I feel like, you know, if I can apply that same attitude and that same positivity, it will greatly benefit me in other areas of my life. The number one thing that doll collecting has taught me is to have an appreciation for artists and their artwork. You know, when I first started collecting ball jointed dolls, I learned very early on the difference between an artist original doll and counterfeit dolls. And I was lucky in that regard, because I know a lot of people aren't educated in the beginning about counterfeit dolls. I was lucky because I started collecting artist dolls, and so I learned very early on what counterfeit dolls were. I have the utmost appreciation for artists and for the time effort, love, passion they put into their works. You know, I have some amazing artist pieces that I am so grateful to have as part of my collection. It's funny because my husband and I were just talking yesterday about, you know, my husband was like, you know, some of your dolls, they're going to be the Picassos of the future. And I said, I believe that truly in my heart. And even if they're not, I love these dolls and I love them. I value them as things of beauty and as amazing pieces of artwork. And so that's something that I came to have an appreciation of over my time of collecting artist dolls. And so you guys, that's why you see such a big emphasis on artist dolls and supporting artists on my channel, because I think it's important. But I think a lot of that appreciation of artist works comes from my dad. My dad has always been a big lover of the arts, you know, whether it be music, film, or, you know, media of other types. I have a huge picture in my living room that my dad had when we were growing up. I have it now. It is by an artist called named Christian Ostafi, and he was in Romania under communist rule, and he and his family escaped, and all of his works kind of depict the situation that was over there at the time. And so I've had this picture in my living room pretty much all my life, and it just, the emotions that it evokes, you know, it really gets you on a level of appreciating the artwork and what the artist is trying to say, and thinking about those artworks and thinking about the conditions, how lucky you are to live in a country that, I mean, this country has its problems, but just thinking about how lucky we are to live here. And I always think when I look at these two people, you know, about, I wonder where they are today and how they're doing and stuff like that. But, you know, that art just evokes so many emotions, and that's what these dolls do for me, is they evoke emotions. And I can't say how much I appreciate the artist for sharing that with us. And so I will always support artists and their artwork, because it is very meaningful to me in so many ways, in so many levels. And so I just really feel like that having these artist dolls really gives me a further appreciation for other types of artwork as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this countdown. I kind of was thinking about, you know, how has doll collecting touched me in ways that's not just about, I guess, the materialistic side of things, because I do think about, you know, I have a lot of dolls, and there's more to it though than just being materialistic. I think there's so many other levels of things that dolls provide me besides, you know, it's my passion in life is dolls, and then looking at, you know, how have they affected other areas of my life. And I wanted to share that with you guys. What I would love is if you would share with me in the comments if there's something that you learned either about yourself or about life or things in general through doll collecting. I'd love to hear what that is. Let me know that in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. I want to say a huge thank you to my patrons from Patreon. Lindsay S., Leah W., Doreen Z., Janice H., Mercedes W., Cindy K., Bear Sunflower, Diane B., Kelly L., Cindy L., Susie W., Krista R., Victory Run, Shorna R., Shira Star Hobby, Stephanie W., Jessica S., and Ray M. Your support means so much to me and helps me continue bringing you great dolly content. For more information on how you can become a supporter of this channel, click the link in the video description. Thank you so much for watching.